Greetings, everyone. This video is the domino effect of a crisis can prompt martial law. Lately, we have been experiencing several crises that could provoke martial law. There have been several police shootings of unarmed black citizens in the U.S. Based on the reports in the news, they were fired upon by a police officer for not complying to instructions. Not being able to follow instructions to the letter should not determine whether a person should be exterminated. If a person is developmentally or physically challenged and is unable to follow instructions properly, should he or she be exterminated? If they don't have a weapon, why should they be fired upon for an inability to do something? Would that be cruel? If a person is unable to raise their hands in the air due to arthritis or some other ailment, should they be fired upon? If a person has no weapon in his or her hand and isn't lunging at an officer, should he or she be fired upon? Should a person's skin color determine whether he or she should be exterminated even though they do not possess a weapon? Those are some questions I'd just like to see you answer. Now, I don't know if all of you know about this, but there is a such thing as martial law. Martial law is usually implemented when there's a disaster or some sort of crisis. When martial law is enacted or put in effect, the soldiers and local police in a state or area will take complete control of that location. That means curfews will be set for civilians to follow. Anyone who does not comply with the curfew may be apprehended and, if necessary, be disabled. If you are still intact, you may be taken to a concentration camp or a FEMA camp. Concentration camps are used to house detainees. Detainees may be anti-NOO, undesirables, or those engaged in criminal activity. It's in your best interest not to be on the streets during martial law, or else you will be on the patrol force's radar. These concentration camps which some call FEMA camps, are not pleasant places to be. They are deplorable. The living environment is not equivalent to your home environment. It's more like a corral for livestock. Several people may be clustered together, struggling for space. When it comes to food and water, you may not always be accommodated when you request these necessities. You may get a minimal amount of water or grub. If you are lucky enough to get some bread and meat, savor it. This may not always be the case. By the way, keep those items very close to you. Others may want an extra offering. People may become antsy with so little space to move around. This may lead to verbal outbursts or physical confrontations. You will not be treated like a VIP in this type of environment. No waiting on you hand and foot as in a hotel or restaurant. For the most part, you may be neglected. At best, you may get 1 or 2 meals per day. These camps may be a circus. All types you could imagine are housed there. This would be a culture shock for some people not accustomed to such a diverse group of people. Don't be out on the streets when martial law starts. It's not going to be a good time for some people. Some believe that mostly blacks will be housed in these camps. That's what you hear. But we'll see how that goes. Here is an unconfirmed picture of what a FEMA camp or concentration camp might look like. It's just an example, and as I said before, it's unconfirmed as to whether it is truly a FEMA or concentration camp. I'm just generalizing about the conditions of such a camp if one were set up. They always seem to place them in a desolate area, not close to suburban areas or centers. I'm pretty sure they have a 24-hour guard on watch to make sure everyone stays within the encampment. They like to keep the people in one place so they can keep an eye on them and provide them with the necessities they need. FEMA controls all operations in the states where they set up these camps. Let's just hope we won't have to have any FEMA camps set up in the states in which we live. That means all distributions of supplies such as food, water, medicine, blankets, or sleeping quarters are under FEMA's control and direction. They may have porta potties located at certain points in these camps to dispose of waste. That's something you can't do without, don't you think? If these porta potties aren't available, then I guess people would have to improvise. I'll let you draw a picture of what that scene would be like in your mind. You aren't going to have the best of treatment in these places all the time. Some people might get a meal and some may not get one at all. It depends on whether they have enough supplies or they might have to, cut the rations in half. You never know. And in some instances, some people may get more handouts of food or supplies. You never know how it's going to go. Do you remember the Hurricane Katrina in August 2005? Well, some people weren't able to evacuate Louisiana before Hurricane Katrina struck. So they had to, you know, be placed inside the Louisiana Superdome. That was the name of it at the time, where they would be safe. Well, anyway, from what I heard back then, people were saying that the plumbing systems stopped working and the toilets were overrun with waste. People had to improvise using trash cans as waste disposal receptacles. The smell in this environment became unbearable, and this this environment became ideal for producing bacteria because of the mounting waste. There were no antibiotics available, so if someone fell ill, they wouldn't be able to be treated. Um, they had those ready to eat meal packets, which was a good thing, but they had to consume them in the midst of an unpleasant smelling environment. As I said before, these concentration camps can be disgusting when there's not enough preparation done ahead of time. You may have to eat in a cesspool of waste surrounding you. So you wouldn't want to be in that situation. And if you can avoid it, it's best to avoid it. And another thing is, if people have health issues that require specific medication, this could pose a problem for them if it's not available. That's why it's good for people to organize these camps in the beginning so that they'll have everything they need before the people are located there. So you wouldn't want to be in this type of situation. So if you can avoid it, that's a good idea. And as I said before, don't be on the streets when martial law is put in effect. And let's just hope that we won't ever have to have martial law, but you never know whether this is going to happen or not. And in the times we're living in, with all the crises happening, and it seems like we're moving toward that point. All I can say is say your prayers. Thank you for listening and watching the video. I would like you to let me know what you think about the video by leaving a comment, and also click on the like or dislike button just to let me know how you feel about it. And I'd like you to share this video with others that may be interested in it. You never know, they might like it. Um, if you want to support my channel, subscribe to InfoPro channel. Last, I have a new video called New Humanoid Race Causes the Metamorphosis of Humankind. Check it out. You might like it. It's kind of interesting. I'm letting you know. This is ZD. Until next time. Bye.